Hey there, welcome to ATL and 29, a podcast that looks at the NBA from the starting point of Atlanta. My name is Kevin Chouinard. I'm here with Glen Willis and Tyler Jones when we were recording after a loss to the Charlotte Hornets. Um, Glenn, what did you think about that game? I mean, it was like sort of right there all along, seemed like a winnable game and got away at the end, but how did that happen?
Yeah, so I mean, it felt like the first, I don't know, 8 possessions of the fourth quarter, the Hawks were having success on offense, and then it just kind of broke down. I mean, for me, when I watch the Hornets play defense, they're very well coached. They take space away from you. They crowd you. They push you into tight space. And I think Charles Lee's a really good coach. Just a really really good coach. And so for me, I look at this and zoom out, like zoom way out. I want people to understand heading into the All-Star break, the whole league, like every team is on fumes right now. Like everybody's tired. Everybody needs the break that's coming up. I know people are like, I don't know, I saw some different stuff on social media about like Nikhil's game tonight. He had 10 assists. It was an upside down game for him. He passed well, didn't shoot well. And then that left corner three from Kispert late, that would have been a huge shot that would have made a difference in this game. But for me, my number one point of frustration was watching CJ on Con so much on the fourth quarter. And maybe that was Quinn thinking like, okay, they're forcing switches, so I want to put CJ on him. If we get a switch, we can get a bigger defender on him. So Quinn can defend that. I'm not an NBA coach. I'm not gonna like question that. But for me, I felt like the Hornets executed better the last 7 minutes of the fourth quarter than Hawks did, and that was the difference in the game. And they're on a roll right now. The Charlotte's playing really, really well. Um, and so frustrating loss for Hawks fans to watch, no doubt about that. They couldn't make shots down the last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter. But I'm telling you, like the whole league, every team is on fumes right now, just dying for this All-Star break. And that's just kind of where things are. But I want to remind people, Nikhil hit the game winner against Utah 2 days ago, and he's done so much for this team along the way, and he's exceeded his expectations so much across kind of what came coming into the season for the Hawks. So I give him a lot of grace, but I also want to say like Hawks fans are like, God, they missed so many open shots, in the last part of the fourth quarter. Yeah, they did. They absolutely did. And that's how it goes sometimes.
Tyler, what did you think of that game?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just story of the season. Quinn goes to the offense only lineups. They get destroyed, and the Hawks lose. So like I don't particularly care um about end of the game because like it's just random. It's a make or miss league. The Hawks were missing their open shots. It happens, but like you just can't play extended stretches where you're throwing out lineups with like four of the worst, like literally probably the four worst defensive players on the Hawks all played on the floor at the same time. uh it's just inexcusable, like get Risacher out there, get like I just don't understand. I didn't understand like Asa Landell together, like what are we doing? It's two centers on the floor. Like it can't be both of them. It just can't. Uh, you need to me the point of getting center and Landell is you're able to play Ricochet at the four, and throw Kispert out there with them. At least get like that was working fine, and then they pivoted again to throwing Asa. Like Asa has not been like Asa has good stretches, but Asa Newell has not been good. And like I don't understand if the point is like we're developing, okay, then why is Ricochet only playing 23 minutes? It, it, but if that's not the point, if we're trying to win games, why is Asa playing at all? Because like he's not good enough to justify these minutes. Either go with Ricochet there, or like I don't know, go with Mo Gay. But then like offensively, it's going to be bad. But at least you're going to be good on defense. Like Asa's a center. Like he's only going to be effective offensively right now, I'm not saying he can't be effective in the future, but just right now, offensively, he's only effective as a center. You can't throw him out there with another center and expect positive outcomes on offense, especially when that center is not good defensively. So like that's where I'm like, those lineups didn't make sense. The what Quinn was doing with Risacher at in the fourth quarter made zero sense. He should have just wrote it out with him. I didn't understand why CJ McCollum is just banked automatic, minutes. That doesn't really. Uh, Again, it just goes to my point. Like, what are we trying to do here? Especially when Risacher is playing so well. Like, can we please reward the guys who play good defense and also has a functional jump shot? Like, can we please do that instead of we're just offense maxing the entire game 100% of the time? We're never going to get a real stop. We're always going to get beat on the glass because we're unathletic. With CJ McCollum on the floor, we're unathletic with Corey Kispert. Like, there's no excuse. There's no reason for playing Corey Kispert 23 minutes. Like, nonsense. So, like, I don't know. It's like the same old story with Quinn. He got thoroughly outcoached by another younger head coach that understands how basketball's played today in 2026. But whatever. It's like we can move on to that and talk about something else because I can't deal with Quinn in this. It's stupid.
Yeah, no.
We need one stop. I'm throwing Corey Kispert, literally my worst defender on the game. He was terrible the entire game. Defensive breakdown after defensive breakdown, and he gets rewarded over Zachary Risacher. What type of culture are we setting here? That is bullshit. I'm sorry. That just is bullshit. Stop rewarding bad defenders. Please. Enough.
Yeah, David Lee asked me a question about the end of the game, and that's pretty much exactly what I said to him. It's like it's not defensible under any criteria. If the criteria is, hey, he's a veteran, he's not going to make a mistake, at least he's got more experience than Risacher, you can point to 48 hours ago when he made a horrific mistake at the end of the game and say, well, no, even though he's a veteran, he might make the defensive mistake. And you can't say that he had it going in this game, let's ride it out with him because he wasn't good in this game. Like, they were picking on him. Like, this was sort of the old school pick on kind of game where, like, most of the games in 2026, like, if you're going to pick on a bad defender, you get them at the point of attack and you try to do the one-on-one drive thing. Today was more of, we're going to put him in the weak side corner and we're going to try to attack the rim in the pick and roll game and we're going to make him the help man. And they were getting him stuck over and over and over again in that situation. Like, I saw CJ McCollum do a great job of this on one play, and I was like, good job, CJ. Like, he got to the rim and did just enough, and when the ball swung, he got out. Like, it was absolutely magnificent. And Kispert in this game just wasn't doing that job very well. And you have a player in your rotation who was, number one, playing well, number two, should be part of your long-term future, and number three is exactly the type of player that can handle this specific job very well, and they just didn't employ him enough in this game. He played basically the same number of minutes as Kispert did, which just defied every sort of logical expectation. And you're right, like, the inconsistency with how you're going to approach, hey, are we going to play Asa? How much are we going to play Asa versus are we going to play Zach? How much are we going to play Zach? Like, it just seems like they've got two different sets of rules, and it just doesn't really make sense that Zach gets the short hook over and over again, and Asa, we're just going to ride with him no matter what for his rotation minutes. Like, it feels wonky.
And I'm not trying to, like, again, Ace is a fine player. Like, I think he's a fine prospect, but
yeah,
this is a Hornets team that does not play a traditional power forward anyway. They right. play with a bunch of like smaller guys in general who are similar size, so they can switch 1 through 5. But they don't play necessarily big, so they don't really play with two bigs on the floor.
They played a lot of Grant Williams, like.
Yeah, but Grant's like 6'5". Like,
right. He's not tall, but he's strong.
But it's just, I'm like, why are we matching that with two centers? Functionally, Asa is a center. Like, you talk about like he can't play center on defense, but he is a center on offense. Like that's just the reality of the situation, and he's not good enough right now to be justifying these minutes when you have a defensive specialist in Mo that you're saying you're not going to play. I'm fine with that. To me, I thought like, hey, throw Zach out there. Like you got to get again. I keep stressing this. You got at some point this organization has to give Zach some fucking runway. He's got to get a runway. I'm sorry, he has to get a runway. Like, what are we doing? Asa is not more talented than Zachary Richet. He's not. Why are we prioritizing Asa getting some minutes rather than Zach getting like a chance to do something with the damn ball in his hands for once? I'm just like, I don't get it. But again, it's been a frustrating thing with Quinn all year. It's why I don't like these old coaches. They don't understand this game is played with younger players. You have to let your younger guys fail. How do you think the Hornets got to this good? You think this happened randomly? It's been 2 years of Charles Lee throwing these young guys at the wall and seeing if something will work. He just throws them out there. Starts Con Knipple day one. Starts Ryan Kalkbrenner day one. Is Ryan Kalkbrenner still the starting center? No, because guess what? Musa Diabate was getting plenty of minutes last year as a young player. Like you got to throw young guys out there. He was trying Salon multiple times. It didn't work. Okay. If it doesn't work, okay. But like Zach has proven to be a good NBA rotation player. Can we please up his minutes from this below 25 minute per game bullshit? That's not working. It's not working. It's not getting him better. Please play him more. Like until you have a better option. We don't have a better option right now. There's no secret third, four wing out there, especially with Kuminga still hurt. And even Kuminga and Zach should be playing together. Like there should be no minutes being lost there. I'm just so frustrated with how Quinn orients this rotation. This is not both on a player development side, this is poor, and also on the winning side, this is stupid. Because Zach's a good defender. Reward the guy who plays good defense. That's how basketball is won and lost today. The guys who will project to be two-way players like Zach is, you got to let him fail on offense a little bit to get in some type of rhythm, to get some type of confidence. How is he supposed to build his confidence up playing like this? Like, this is nonsense. It's 2 years of this crap.
Yeah. I mean, for me, a reminder: I'm 54 years old. I was born 1971. Okay, so I'm
Man, that's old.
gonna put my PII out there, right? And for me, there is a generational like difference between the young coaches that are coming up and understanding that a high defensive floor is what gets you back into a basketball game when you're down 8, 10, 12 points, right? It is a high defensive floor, getting stops, getting rebounds. That's where you get yourself back in the game. 15 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever, however far back you want to go, spamming, I want to put three-point shooters in the game. I want perimeter shooting. I want this, I want this. That's not how it works anymore. That is not how it works anymore. Stops, rebounds, deflections, steals, defense into offense. That's how the younger coaches, you know, understand how you push back into a game is on that side of the floor, right? So for me, it's like what they have two more games before the All-Star break, I think. So
Yes, Minnesota and then Charlotte again,
and Charlotte again, right?
both on the road.
No Gabe Vincent tonight. Nobody Hill. I don't know what to think about Buddy Hill. Like, Kuminga's not going to be ready until after the All Star break is over. So all that's I get it. It's fine. But these younger 35, 40-year-old coaches or whoever understand that when you're behind, you win with defense. You win with defense. You put defensive lineups on the floor that can get stops, get rebounds, push out, get easy shots in transition, and there's just a generational difference in the older coaches and the younger coaches in the league right now. And I still want to appreciate that I've never coached beyond a youth level ever in my whole life. At the same, but when I watch League Pass and I watch what other teams are doing, and they're putting young, good defenders on the floor when they're down, that's the shift that is being missed here with this team. In my view.
And there were opportunities in this game. Like it's not it's not like Charlotte has like this perfect rotation. Like there were players in this game that CJ McCollum could have guarded. Like he can stay with Sion James. Like that's fine. But the problem is when you want to finish these games and finish halves with CJ McCollum, he's going to be out there against the good teams. There's just no place to hide him. Like it's just you can't put him on Brandon Miller. You can't put him on LaMelo Ball. You can't put him on Con Knipple. Like it's just and you can pick the least of those evils and maybe putting him on Knipple that might have been the right choice of what you could do there, but it's still not a good choice. Like you can rejigger your rotation so that he's in the game at a different point and there is a capable defensive assignment for him. But once he got to those Hornet starters, like there's just no job for him that he can handle there.
Yeah, agreed. And you saw Charles Lee subbing offense, defense the last 8 minutes of the fourth quarter. And Quinn, like, we're losing, we're down, we're tied, we're whatever. Put it all on Jalen. And Jalen's still learning and growing. We've talked about this ad nauseum. Like Jalen's still learning and growing through owning responsibility late in the game, offensively, all that sort of stuff. But Charles Lee was getting his defenders on the floor for defensive possessions, getting his offensive players on the floor for offensive possessions. And again, it's just one of those things where it's like I feel like there's this delta that exists, for um, coaches that uh, aren't snapping into understanding like, okay, we're down 8 points with 5 minutes to go. I need defenders on the floor. We have to get stops to give ourselves a chance to win this game and spamming offense, you know, and that's not that if you watch League Pass, that's not what the younger coaches are doing anymore. That is not what they're doing. They're leading the defense and they're subbing offense defense, and that's how they get back into the game, and that's how they win games.
This was Onyeka Okongwu's first game back after his dental fracture. He was talking after the game about what he's had to go through over the last week, and I think he made a reference to the fact that he's probably going to be wearing that mask for the rest of the season. What changed for the Hawks when they got him back? What do you think, Tyler? What changes when you get a Kongwu back, and how do the
Well, I
Hawks
mean,
sort of go ahead?
he's the only good center on the team, so you get a good, you know, respected Landale. But like with no KP, like when a Kongu's not in the game, there's just a level of talent that's lacking. It's been consistently lacking without KP all year. Landale helps because he's big and he knows what he's doing and he can shoot overall. But I'm talking like just physical talent. Like a Kongu gives them a release valve on multiple occasions. You can throw it to him in the post. He can make something happen. He can, he's just a better shooter, driver on offense. Defensively, he's just better than Landale at everything. So it's just like you get that quality, you get that foundational rock solid quality back, and also it makes it easier for the other four guys because Okongwu knows how the offense is supposed to work. Landale, I'm confident Jack Landale will get there offensively, just working out the minutia to help these guys a little bit more. But like Okongwu's just nails on all of his reads on both ends, so it just makes everybody know where the role is, where they're supposed to be standing, when they should be cutting, all that good stuff. So like that's really what they get back with Okongwu, just the talent, like the talent. He's been one of the team's best players throughout the season, and he's been missed.
Yeah, and it seems like for Zachary and Dyson, like it just the rest of the offense goes more smoothly for them. But at the same time, when you move Landale to the bench, does that create some issues? Like, is it a little too offense heavy? Like,
Yeah,
how
him.
how are they going to overcome this?
I don't know. It's kind of the weakness of the roster. It's like, yeah, because Landale on these offensive lineups are probably going to be pretty bad going forward. Uh, but what are you going to do? You
I mean,
know,
is there like a stagger or something that could make this a little bit better? Like, Because
I think
when it was Dyson and like it was Dyson and then four players that were probably not very good defenders, Landale being one of them for his position. Like it's like how are you going to get stops with this lineup? Like they did the same thing at the end of the third quarter against Utah. They did it tonight against Charlotte. It's like you've got Dyson and four defenders that
You gotta
you
have
don't
Zach.
really trust.
Like I said, Kevin, you gotta have Zach out there, man. Like you just if you're not gonna close the game with him, whatever. Like get him out there next to Dyson Daniels. And like if you got to sub Kispert out, take Kispert out. Like who cares about Corey Kispert? Respect. He's a good vet. He's not in the long-term plans of this team. He's not some hidden gem. Teams knows what he is. Like he is what he is. He's an older player for somebody who hasn't been in the league that long. Like you're not uncovering gold here. Like let's cut back on the Kispert minutes. I've been pretty consistent on that all year since they've gotten Kispert. By the way, like there's no reason for him to be playing as much as he has. He's a good player. He does his thing. He's very good at the point five stuff on offense, and defensively he does play with physicality. But like come on, like let's just get Dyson and Risacher out there at the same time with Landale and CJ McCollum. That's a good enough offense. Like that's a good enough offensive environment for CJ McCollum to go to work there, for Dyson and Zachary to play off of CJ. Like that just makes more sense than having Kispert out there as instead of Zach, because Kispert, for all his strengths as an offensive player, is not somebody who's gonna like relieve pressure as a ball handler or anything. There's really no difference between Kispert and Risacher offensively, other than Kispert is a better shooter. Like that's it. Like there's no real difference of it. Like you're not getting any added value from having Kispert on the floor than Risacher, other than a more consistent jump shot. They both are respected as shooters. They both space the floor. They're both also not running anything offensively. So how about we get the better defensive player out there and keep it moving? Or and like again, we could do a better job of staggering Dyson and Keel so that one of them is on the floor at all times. Um, that should always be. I think that happened pretty much always anyway. But like, you know, we just, to me, I'm just like a lot of these issues are like, yeah, just play Zach more, and then we can figure out what else we need from there. Because like, there's still going to be issues with these lineups, particularly with Landale. Again, the Hawks don't have great defensive personnel to really support Landale unless you're going to play Mo Gay. Like that's kind of just reality. And I can understand both sides of playing Mo Gay and not playing Mo Gay, but like going with Kispert and McCollum and Landale is a recipe for just failure. Like you're setting your team up to fail, and it's like, okay, if Risacher's only going to play 23 minutes or he's not going to close, just throw Risacher out there to eat those minutes instead of Kispert. That's where I'm like, come on, we got to have better balance of offense and defense on these backup lineups, because the lineups are never like these lineups. I probably aren't going to win, but you can lose less with better like structure and how you go on things. This has been a weakness, Kevin, of Quinn Snyder's the entirety he's been coaching the Hawks. So like me crying about this isn't going to change anything. He doesn't talk about his rotations. He doesn't want to hear any criticism about his rotations. But that is the reality of why these close games, like these are the margins. Like if you're not working the margins as a coach, you're susceptible to losing games like the one tonight where it's just, oh, it's a make or miss league. I'm just like, okay, I can only be so critical about how the Hawks play in the clutch. I'm more frustrated with the process of how we got there. That's where my criticisms come. It's been consistent with Quinn Snyder the entirety he's been coaching the Hawks, and it's not improving. It's just not. And like I'm really worried when Kuminga is going to be here that it's going to be a lot of Kuminga next to like a bunch of guys who can't defend. It's going to be like, okay, so are we just not trying to win games? So that's kind of where my concern is currently, where it's like we're going to surround Kuminga with all the shooting in the world offensively, but like no, like we're just punting defense. Like we don't care anymore. I don't understand that, especially considering the Hawks have been a good defensive team over the last month or so.
Yeah,
Like I don't get that.
that's true. Right. They have been a good defensive team, so it's just like they're so close. So it's kind of frustrating to see those moments where they really have some implosion. Did you get to see or hear or read anything about what Ansi Saleh said today? Anybody?
Uh,
You mean during the
No.
game?
What's that?
You mean during the
before
game?
the game,
No, he did a press conference so two and a
Oh
half
no,
hours before the game.
I didn't see any of that output. No.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there was anything too shocking. He if there was anything that was particularly notable, I think it was just how much he made it about the future. Like, in terms of like what he wanted from the rest of the season, he's just like you just keep developing. It's really not about this year. Like, I mean, he said it in terms I think where it was just universally about, what's the long term, what's the long term. Like he couldn't emphasize that point enough, and he came back
Yeah.
to it 5 or 6 times. So just, the insistence with how he said that, I think that maybe that was the one most notable thing that he said today.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. Like, tonight it was for me. Like going forward, does Gabe Vincent play the next two games? Does Buddy play the next two games? Like, Kaminga's not going to be able to after the All Star break, according to the way the reporting came out. So that's fine. And it's just going to be interesting to see how Quinn integrates or chooses not to, or hey, we're going to punt this till after the All Star break and incorporate them. So the next two games they play versus the Timberwolves and the Hornets again. It's going to be very interesting to see like who he incorporates into rotation, et cetera, et cetera. For me, a frustrating part of the game tonight was like Zach was great in this game tonight. He was really, really good in this game tonight. But there still seems to be I don't know, I don't want to speak for Quinn. It seems to be a trust issue or whatever word you want to choose to kind of throw at what we feel like we're seeing there in that sense. And so but for me, like he was aggressive. He wasn't hesitant shooting the basketball. He was good defensively. And like, I'm sorry, like as again, I'm not an NBA coach, never been an NBA coach. You watch that, you watch the impact and the effort he threw in the minutes that he had. You're like, I need that to close. I can. That's valuable to have on the floor as we try to close this game and try to win this game. And that's what I know. I want to validate Hawks fans who watched tonight. Was like, Zach's off the floor. We have a lineup that's tilted towards offense, not defense. And that's frustrating. I want to validate that, but Zach was great tonight. He was really good, really, really, really good tonight. And I just want Quinn to trust him more. And I want Quinn to like put him out there and just really trust him at the end of games more. That's what I want to see the rest of the way. And I think Zach has earned that. I think he deserves that. And when we push through the last, I don't know, there's 29 or 28 games left in the season, whatever the number is. I want more Zach in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. That's what I want to see the whole rest of the season. I think he deserves it. He plays hard. He plays with a lot of effort and intensity, good hand discipline as a defender. Just the processing, and I just want Quinn to be like, yeah, I don't care if he screws up. I don't care if he screws up. Let's let him work through all of that, and I think that will build him up towards next season being ready to be a more 30 minutes a game guy. That's what I think they need from him.
Yeah, I mean, we keep coming back to the same point, but I guess it's just unavoidable at
I mean,
some point.
yeah, I mean, but like, what else is there to say? It's like, I mean, we can talk about the Hornets how well they're playing, but like, I'm just still,
Is there?
But Kevin,
Yeah,
like LaMelo catered their off like just cratered their offense the last 6 minutes. They could just overpossess the basketball, and
and guess what Charles Lee did? He took him out the game.
yeah,
He
yeah.
subbed
I
him
mean, he
out.
was he
Like
was having trouble. Like,
accountability,
he was having an
accountability,
issue. He subbed
accountability,
him out.
accountability.
Like, what are we doing? Like, that's their star player. like whether he's their best player is secondary. That is their guy. That is the star player. That is the leader of their franchise. And he took him out the game in the fourth quarter. And meanwhile, like, man, I'm guessing. I'm for Quinn Snake. I guess because I didn't see Dyson call out to be subbed out of the game, and I didn't see no trainer. But if he's saying that's what happened, that's what happened. But that was one of the more strangest substitution patterns I've ever seen. Where Dyson,
I do think that I saw it. I saw what you tweeted and I was like, well, let me go look at the video.
I didn't see it on the video. That's all.
On the and one, it looked like he kind of landed awkwardly and was like preferring like in the arena. I'm actually sitting in the exact same seat. It was like it looked a lot more dramatic than it did in the video. Like he kind of hopped on the same foot a few times, and I but it was so weird that Zach was at the table and then was just in and then right back out. It was I thought that we had finally come around to, hey, this is going to be the game where he finishes, and then it wasn't. Yeah. I know, Glenn, that you usually have a good pulse on what's happening in Minnesota. Is there anything that this team should be aware of going on this trip to Minnesota? Like what should we expect in this next matchup?
There is tension there in the locker room.
Okay.
So I lived there for 14 years before I moved to Seattle area. Rudy is calling out his teammates for not working hard enough on defense. And I think that a lot of that goes to Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards. And so, and Rudy has said, if I'm not playing hard enough, you should take me out. Take me out. Take me. If I'm not playing hard, take me out. Right. And Rudy is saying the players have to hold each other accountable. It should not be on the coaches to hold us accountable. We should hold one another accountable.
Maybe Rudy
I,
needs his old coach back.
yeah. But I think Rudy's trying to take the pressure off, Chris Finch. I think
Yeah.
he's really trying to take the pressure off there and be like, hey, effort all the time. And you can go on social media too and find there's an interesting clip going around from the Utah game with Will Hardy looking at the bench. And I'm gonna try to avoid the coarse language here, and Will Hardy telling his team, "I am effing tired of asking you guys to play harder." And that is a thing in the NBA. So the Timberwolves post trade deadline, et cetera, are trying to kind of work their way through a players holding one another accountable at a higher level, you know, and I think that's really interesting. So I'll remind people, Dane Moore is like it's like my best friend in the whole world. He covers them, has a great podcast, the whole thing and stuff like that. There are others that I'm connected to there as well. So I have those relationships and all that sort of stuff. So the Timberwolves are working through some, I don't know, family drama, can we call it that? Around that. And Rudy's trying to be vocal about it, in that sense. So it'll be interesting to see what we see when the Hawks travel to Minnesota and play them on it's Monday, I think they played them.
Monday.
Monday, yeah. So that'll be interesting. So there's some stuff that Timberwolves are working through around. We don't want the coaches to have to hold us accountable. The players, we should hold one another accountable, and that's I think a really interesting place that organization is right now, and that may be visible as we watch that game on Monday.
Are they going to do what the Hornets did to start out tonight and try to guard Dyson Daniels with Rudy Gobert, or do you think that would be more of a traditional orientation?
I think that's very likely how the game starts.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's funny that you bring up like players playing hard, and it's not necessarily like universal to the Hawks roster, but man, just it's funny. Like the last podcast, like the Hawks won the game. Nikhil hit a game winner, and I don't even think we said his name once. And it's like because a lot of the time what we're focused on is, well, what can the Hawks do better? And like so often that's not Nikhil do anything better because he's usually so good. And like in this game, it was just like what with the Kongwu back, with Nikhil and Dyson fighting over screens and getting a little hedge from Okongwu and then recovering and getting back. Like it was all just so seamless. These just their defense in just the two-man game, how well they could guard pick and roll with just two players. It was remarkable. And so much of it is just like how hard Nikhil plays, how hard Dyson plays. Like it's hard to ever question how hard those two play.
I
And
know.
Onyeka too, but like part of it is like he's playing hard. He's so savvy. He has such good chemistry with him. But man, watching Nikhil fight over screens. Like today he drew 3 offensive fouls, which is, you know, part of that's playing hard, but part of it's also like knowing the time to be savvy and like, hey, I'm going to show you the contact that I'm getting on these screens. Like it's just it's fun. It might not be fun to the average fan, but to me as a basketball person, just watching him fight over screens, I enjoy that crap.
Yeah, I'll be quick and throw it to Tyler. Gabe Vincent will give you all of that too. He
Yeah,
will
I
give
wanted to
all
ask
of
that.
that too.
Like, is there any way where the Hawks say we need more ball pressure, we need more defense? I know it's not Buddy Hield, but are they going to look to Gabe Vincent for some of that?
They absolutely should, and I hope we see that versus Minnesota. So Tyler, I want you to jump in here too.
Oh, maybe. It's just, I mean, yeah. If you don't want to, again, if you don't want to play Kiss Protected too, I can see Gabe getting some burn there. I'd rather see Gabe than Buddy Hield. If
Yeah,
I mean,
agreed.
I just don't think Buddy, like, but it's not that Buddy's not a good player. It's just he
Right.
doesn't provide anything the Hawks need with CJ McCollum on the team. So
That's right.
that's kind of where I'm at with Gabe. But yeah, no. Shout out to Adam Silver for not fixing the tanking issue though. So maybe I just want to leave with that.
We'll see.
After the All-Star break, the Hawks need to win games. There's just no reason that they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right. Well, thank you. I'll go apply the NSFW tag here and good night, Bob.
All right, Bob.
Good night, Buff.